I'm here today on Horn Island, so I'm eating overpriced ice bobos from the island store and drinking tea. But we've been on TO today, and I think one of the things that, just delivering training, but one of the things I wanted to talk about was this year we've really taken I don't know if it's a, I don't know if approach is the right word, but okay, I'll stick with approach. But what we've done is we've tried to, I don't know, there was something really did click in with me late last year, and we had the opportunity to do the training with CSIA around NDIS. And when we did that the first time we did it, me being me, I tried to cram everything in, like really cram everything into that one day workshop. And we had some online stuff. And then we had an opportunity to do it again. And I thought, I don't know, we try to do too many things. We try to give everybody as much as we can. And part of the problem is we don't live in the communities that we are working in. So if you don't live in them, I guess what I'm trying to say is that's just the way that the contracts run. Like, that's the way the system goes. We fly in, I'm here on, Horn Island, Thursday Island. We come back. Yeah, you have a set contract. You fly in, you do your thing, you fly out. So and then you might come back, and you come back a month later, and then you come back a month later after that. And like, you're in, you're out. You have some online stuff, but really, I want to give people as much as I can possibly give in as quickly as I can, because I know I'm leaving. And very admirable, I guess. But what it fails to do is it fails to recognise that people don't just learn like that. I don't learn like that. I think I do, probably. I love information, or maybe I do, but not everybody does. And so what we've done this year is really scale back the volume of content that we've been delivering, just to provide space for people to actually learn, engage with it, understand it, take it on board, and actually then use it in their business. So what we've done, it's windy. What we've done is, so we took what we delivered in the first phase of the NDIS program, and then earlier this year, I stripped it right back and just pulled all of this content out. Pulled it all out. And so we were contracted to deliver 12 one-day workshops in communities around Queensland. And then what I did is the content that I'd extracted from that first day workshop, I actually then put into 12 standalone online workshops. And so what we've done then, which is what we were contracted to deliver as well, so 12 standalone online workshops to be recorded and available afterwards, and then the one day in person. And so what I feel like, it's so far one of the best ways that we've managed to. And then during the one day workshop, we're not going to, so this is an issue, this is something you need to deal with, but we're not actually going to talk about it today. You need to go to the online workshop, whether it had passed or not, we get to the bit of, but this is marketing. Now we're going to talk about this in the marketing workshop, or we're not going to talk about this. You can go to this resource. And so it was really trying to refer people. I don't know, and the evaluation's not finished yet, so it'll take time for that to happen. But the idea is that, in the day workshop, we're referring people to other sessions online, or the other resources and other sessions. And then hopefully what it will mean is people will understand it a bit better. I think that that's the way that I want to go with One Business as well. When we were in Hopevale a few weeks ago, it was probably last month now, what we did for that final week was the final visit was really focus on what can we let people take away with them when we've left. And so we really did this really intense couple of days where we just wrote people's capability statements with them. We took a printer, so there was no handouts really. Like normally I'm packed to the rafters with handouts to give out. It's like, no, let's just scale it right back. Let's just yarn with people. Let's just give them what they need, which is, so we gave them a slide deck. We help people, we help them produce a slide deck. We help them produce capability statements, and we help them produce their pitch, so their script for their pitch. We also took photos, so people have photos to take away. And I feel like it was actually a really, really intense couple of days, because of course we finished with the expo at the end, the Meet the Buyers event. But it was just so much better because we just, instead of trying to overwhelm people, we've never tried to overwhelm people. Instead of overwhelming people, we stuck to something that was pretty, really quite deliverable. The other recent training experience I've had, which was something I've never done before. I was in Lockhart River for Titters in Business and spent 2 days there. And I've never been to Lockhart before. I don't really know anybody, I'd not met anybody. Like, it was kind of like, I don't have any friends. Like, I didn't have any relationship with Lockhart. So really a cold visit in that sense. But it was fantastic because what I did was I had a few little A5 handouts that fit into the A5 booklet that Titters in Business has. So and I took scissors and I took glue stick. But what I really did there was just go, what do you want to yarn about? And then I think we talked about all kinds of stuff, and I'm still actually writing the notes of the things that we talked about, but it was directly answering people's questions. So we talked everything from strategy to a bit about finance. We talked about NDIS. We talked about how to build a website, all the things you need for a website, a little bit about SEO, but it was really, I hope that people felt like I didn't go in there with an agenda. I didn't go in there going, this is what we will talk about. Like, I did have a few things. So I had a little SWOT and a little PESTLE and, a little goal setting activity, that sort of stuff. But it's like, what do you want to yarn about? Ask me questions. And what I did is because I had a whiteboard and a whiteboard pen and just basically, would talk through, because I like to write when I'm talking, or my hands move when I'm talking usually. And so I wrote on the whiteboard, took a screen and then took a photo of the whiteboard, and then rubbed it out. Okay, what do you want to talk about now? And then did the same thing. Rubbed it out. What do you want to talk about now? Took a photo. What do you want to do now? And really the whole idea of that is, and now what I'm doing, still haven't finished because I talked about too much stuff, but typing it all up and then I'll send it to all the participants. But, for me, I think that that was really interesting as well. That was an interesting approach because it was completely led by people. And I guess it was also a bit of it was an introduction session because Titters in Business had never been there. I'd never been there. We really didn't know very much. Oh, I'd met Jermaine. So, no, I hadn't met Jermaine, but I knew Jermaine because Jermaine I met through another program who runs the Business Hub. And then on that last afternoon, took everybody to introduce them to the Business Hub, which most of them didn't even know existed, where it was, talk through what they could get from the Business Hub, that kind of thing. But I think that was an interesting approach. That works when you have, a broad sweeping knowledge of lots of different topics. So I can talk about everything from SEO to websites to strategy. I think we talked about business structures, tax, the whole thing. Yeah, it was really interesting. But I guess the point of this reflection this week is really about delivering the training, really coming from a place of being led by the participant, which is much easier said than done. And again, it is about the contracts. The contract, form follows function. And so if the function of the contract is to deliver to as many people as possible in a shorter space of time, because travel in Queensland is not cheap in regional Queensland, that's the form it's going to take. And how do we then rewrite that form, I guess, is just, how do we disrupt it? How do we get to go back? It's interesting. That's my reflection for this week. Sitting here, beautiful Horn Island, the breeze, watching the sun go down, having my first cup of tea for the day, and eating exorbitantly priced, regional Queensland priced ice fovos, which are always yummy.